The other day, I was procrastinating as I usually do, and I read this headline for an article that said the American roller coaster was invented to save America from Satan. So let's talk about that. As all of you know, August 16th is roller coaster day, so it's very apropos that we talk about this right now just to get ahead of the curve. Quick PSA, can we stop making days for literally everything? I recently found out that January 2nd is Introvert Day, but chances are you probably haven't heard of it because all those people are celebrating quietly at home. But anyways, let's start at the beginning. When was the first roller coaster invented, and most importantly, why? The first concept of the roller coaster I found was around the 16th and 17th century. It was a little hard to pinpoint the exact time, but it was in St. Petersburg, Russia. Russians were sliding down these big icy inclines that kind of look like this. Oftentimes they were built in public spaces that were near ice-covered rivers. You would essentially take a sled to the top and ride down a 65-foot high and 200-foot long ice mountain that was held by this wooden structure, which by the way I highly doubt passed any safety inspections. But that's Russia for you. These icy mountains even took a royal liking, as the Empress of Russia, Catherine the Great, had a few of them built in her estates since she loved them so much. Russia occupied Paris from 1815 through 1816, after they defeated Napoleon at Waterloo. It is believed that they introduced the thrill of sledding down steep hills like they did back home to France. So in July 1817, French banker Nicolas Beaujon opened an amusement park named Parc Beaujon on Champs-Élysées. The main attraction was the Promenade Aérienne, or aerial strolls, which were three-wheel carts locked onto a track with guided rails to keep them on course at higher speeds. It's rumored that King Louis XVIII of France came to the park, but it's not really known if he actually got on the ride or not. But like most fun things back then, these rides were meant for the upper classes. That is until 1845, when Tivoli, an amusement park in Copenhagen, opened up targeting the middle class. Anyways, let's backtrack just a little bit. So I found a functional roller coaster called Mauch-Chunk Switchback Railway, built in 1827, and it had two jobs. First one was carrying coal in the morning, and the second one was serving up a wild ride in the afternoons. These coaster cars would carry up to 1.5 tons of coal downhill at almost 50 miles an hour through a place called Lehigh Valley. After the cars were emptied, mules would bring it back up the 9-mile trek to be filled again. Naturally, people saw something fast and said, hey, I want to ride that. So for 75 cents, these tourists would come and ride the Mauch-Chunk for an adrenaline-fueled safety hazard. Alright, let's fast forward a little bit. A popular and commercially successful roller coaster opened up in 1884 and was called the Gravity Switchback Railway, and it was located in Coney Island. There was this guy named Lamarcus Adna Thompson who was in charge of operating it. He was charging 5 cents per ride and reportedly making up to $600 a day. Other businessmen took notice of this new moneymaker, and the golden age of roller coasters began. In the early 1900s, there were a few thousand of them opening up, but they slowly started shutting down due to fires, the Great Depression, among other events. A few of the OG roller coasters are still up and running, like the Jackrabbit, which opened up in 1920, is located in Kennywood Park near Pennsylvania. Or the Wildcat, which opened in 1927, is located in the world's oldest continuously operating amusement park, Lake Compounce. And the world-famous wooden roller coaster, the 𝐒𝐨𝐿, which opened up in 1927, is located in Coney Island. Okay, now that we have a brief history on roller coasters, let's talk about why somebody actually made it to stop people from sinning in the 1800s. Remember our boy Lamarcus? Yeah, the Godfather of roller coasters? Well, the reason why he built the Switchback Gravity roller coaster in 1884 was because he was really upset that America had fallen into a hedonistic lifestyle and enjoying things such as saloons and brothels.
The world around him is changing, and not for the better.
He was not happy with some of the amusement diversions that were being done at the time, such as saloons, brothels, and the like.
There was this idea, what are we going to do to bring amusement about to the common man in a way that's wholesome?
Apparently owning human beings via slavery wasn't a big concern back then. It was making a joyride to stop people from drinking and having premarital sex. I see we've always had our priorities straight in this country. He patented the coaster, which by the way, I forgot to mention, it faced outward instead of forward like they do today. So you would kind of sit like this. The reason being is that they would usually build a scene around the roller coaster that emulated a beautiful landscape like the Swiss Alps or the Venetian canals, a scenic railway of some sort. So thank you to Lamarcus Adna Thompson for really tackling one of the biggest problems in 1800s America, the hedonistic lifestyle. I'm pretty sure if he were alive today, he would be proud of what we've become. As I was doing research for this video, I found out a few wildly interesting facts about roller coasters. So I'm just gonna rapid fire 7 fun facts that I think were super interesting. Number 1 is that roller coaster loops are never circular. The perfectly circular loops were tried and rejected before because the roller coaster cars moved too fast at the bottom but slowed down at the top. The fast upward climb created an excessive centrifugal force that pushed riders into their seats uncomfortably. So when you see one of these loops, it's more of an oval shape kind of thing, or better yet, like that in-between part of a Venn diagram. Number 2 is that if you sit in the back of the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad at Disney World, it could actually help you dislodge a kidney stone. A study in 2016 led researchers to ride this coaster about 20 times while wearing a backpack with a transparent 3D printed kidney with a fake stone inside. They discovered that the kidney stone actually passed 2/3 of the time. This study won them an IG Nobel Prize, which is a pun on the word ignoble, meaning dishonorable. This prize celebrates unusual, trivial achievements in scientific research. It aims to, quote, honor achievements that first make people laugh and then make people think, unquote, which I'm 100% for. Number 3, Philip Hinkle is responsible for your anxiety on roller coasters. In 1884, this guy patented a powered chain lift to pull up the cars on the first incline before letting gravity do its thing. This meant that coasters would be built on elliptical paths instead of going from point A to point B. A good example of this is a Mach Chunk coaster, the one that had to be carried back up by mules that we spoke of before. Moving on, we have number 4. 𝐒𝐞𝐬 at Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey is the tallest roller coaster in the world. Adding to my hell no list is this monster roller coaster that takes you from 0 to 128 miles per hour in 3.5 seconds in order to push you up a 45-story high, 90-degree angle rail. Don't worry, the ride only lasts 50.6 seconds, which is 50.6 seconds too long for me. Number 5. Formula Rossa at Ferrari World Abu Dhabi is the fastest roller coaster in the world.
Yo, you wanna see some real speed, bitch? I'll show you some real speed.
If you want to go from 0 to 149 miles per hour in 4.9 seconds, then this ride is for you. You'll reach a max height of 170 feet and an adrenaline rush worth 4.8 Gs. Gs being universal gravitation, which is acceleration due to gravity. Which, by the way, the human limit is 9 Gs. At that point, you'll start to feel your body 9 times heavier than usual, blood rushing to your feet, and your heart is unable to pump hard enough to bring this heavier blood to your brain. So this roller coaster will get you a little bit higher than half point of death. Number 6, Steel Dragon 2000 at Nagashima Spa Land in Japan is the longest roller coaster in the world. It's 1.5 miles long and takes about 4 full minutes before it ends. During this ride, you will feel an initial 306-foot drop and a 252 camelback hill. The train then comes back up into a figure 8-shaped helix, then 6 more camelback hills, and then 2 tunnels before it ends. And last but not least, number 7, if you don't enjoy roller coasters, it's actually not your fault. As we just reviewed, today's roller coasters are insane. Well, there's one study that goes into detail about this, which I'll link in the description if you want to nerd out. But long story short, the chemical makeup of your brain is different. It's different for everyone, obviously. Some people have higher levels of dopamine when doing activities that are called sensation-seeking activities, such as bungee jumping and skydiving. The study suggests that these people can sometimes have a substance or gambling problem, since those activities are also considered sensation-seeking. Whereas others, such as myself, I feel, have a withdrawal mechanism in response to a novel and intense stimuli. Meaning, if this is something you've never done before and is way too hardcore, you'll be like, nah, I'm good, dude. I can already feel some of you saying, but Phil, you only live once. You need to experience new and exciting things. Listen, I'm okay with having 2 of my feet on the ground and not being trapped in a steel death train, okay? I've survived 25 years so far on Earth, and I intend to keep going as long as I can. And I feel if I get into one of these death mobiles, it's gonna cut it short. Not that I'm having a great time, but you know, you get what you can. Plus, I've seen all the Final Destination movies, so I think I'm good. That being said, if you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. It definitely helps me make more of them. See you next week. Love you like a headache.